Keanu Charles Reeves is a Canadian actor. Born in Beirut and raised in Toronto, Reeves began acting in theatre productions and in television films before making his feature film debut in Youngblood. He had his breakthrough role in the science fiction comedy Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and he reprised his role in its sequels. He gained praise for playing a hustler in the independent drama My Own Private Idaho and established himself as an action hero with leading roles in Point Break and Speed. Following several box office failures, Reeves's performance in the horror film The Devil's Advocate was well received. Greater stardom came for playing Neo in the science fiction series The Matrix, beginning in 1999. He played John Constantine in Constantine and starred in the romantic drama The Lake House, the science fiction thriller The Day the Earth Stood Still, and the crime thriller Street Kings. Following another commercially down period, Reeves made a successful comeback by playing the titular assassin in the John Wick film series, beginning in 2014. In addition to acting, Reeves has directed the film Man of Tai Chi. He has played bass guitar for the band Dogstar and pursued other endeavors such as writing and philanthropy. Early life. Keanu Charles Reeves was born in Beirut, Lebanon, on September 2, 1964, the son of Patricia, a costume designer and performer, and Samuel Nowlin Reeves Jr. His mother is English, originating from Essex. His American father is from Hawaii, and is of native Hawaiian, Chinese, English, Irish, and Portuguese descent. His grandmother from his father's side is Chinese-Hawaiian. His mother was working in Beirut when she met his father, who abandoned his wife and family when Reeves was 3 years old. Reeves last met his father on the Hawaiian island of Kauai when he was 13. After his parents divorced in 1966, his mother moved the family to Sydney, and then to New York City, where she married Paul Aaron, a Broadway and Hollywood director, in 1970. The couple moved to Toronto, Canada, and divorced in 1971. When Reeves was 9, he took part in a theatre production of Damn Yankees. Aaron remained close to Reeves, offering him advice and recommending him a job at the Hedgerow Theatre in Pennsylvania, United States. Reeves' mother married Robert Miller, a rock music promoter, in 1976. The couple divorced in 1980. She subsequently married her fourth husband, a hairdresser named Jack Bond. The marriage lasted until 1994. Reeves and his sisters grew up primarily in the Yorkville neighborhood of Toronto, with a nanny caring for them frequently. Because of his grandmother's ethnicity, he grew up with Chinese art, furniture, and cuisine. Reeves watched British comedy shows such as The Two Ronnies, and his mother imparted English manners that he has maintained into adulthood. Describing himself as a private kid, Reeves attended 4 different high schools, including the Etobicoke School of the Arts, from which he was expelled. Reeves said he was expelled because he was just a little too rambunctious and shot my mouth off once too often. I was not generally the most well-oiled machine in the school. At De La Salle College, he was a successful ice hockey goalkeeper. Reeves had aspirations to become a professional ice hockey player for the Canadian Olympic team but decided to become an actor when he was 15. After leaving De La Salle College, he attended Avondale Secondary Alternative School, which allowed him to get an education while working as an actor. He dropped out of high school when he was 17. He obtained a green card through his American stepfather and moved to Los Angeles, United States 3 years later. Reeves holds Canadian citizenship by naturalization. Career 1984–1990, early work. In 1984, Reeves was a correspondent for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation youth television program Going Great. That same year, he made his acting debut in an episode of the television series, called Hanjin In. In 1985, he played Mercutio in a stage production of Romeo and Juliet at the Leah Poslands Theatre in North York, Ontario. He made further appearances on stage, including Brad Fraser's cult hit Wolfboy in Toronto. He also appeared in a Coca-Cola commercial in 1983, and in the National Film Board of Canada Coming of Age short film One Step Away. Reeves made a foray into television films in 1986, including NBC's Babes in Toyland, Act of Vengeance and Brotherhood of Justice. He made his first motion picture appearances in Peter Markle's Youngblood, in which he played a goalkeeper, and in the low-budget romantic drama, Flying. He was cast as Matt in River's Edge, a crime drama about a group of high school friends dealing with a murder case, loosely based on the 1981 murder of Marcy Renee Conrad. The film premiered in 1986 at the Toronto International Film Festival to a largely positive response. Janet Maslin of the New York Times describes the performances of the young cast as natural and credible, with Reeves being described as affecting and sympathetic. Towards the end of the 1980s, Reeves starred in several dramas aimed at teen audiences, including as the lead in The Night Before, a comedy starring opposite Lori Loughlin, The Prince of Pennsylvania and Permanent Record. Although the latter received mixed reviews, Variety magazine praised Reeves' performance, which opens up nicely as the drama progresses. His other acting efforts included a supporting role in Dangerous Liaisons, which earned 7 nominations at the 61st Academy Awards, winning 3, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Costume Design, and Best Production Design. This was followed by Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, in which he portrays a slacker who travels through time with a friend, to assemble historical figures for a school presentation. The film was generally well received by critics and grossed $40.5 million at the worldwide box office. Film review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes gave the film a 79% approval rating with the critical consensus: Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter are just charming, goofy, and silly enough to make this fluffy time travel adventure work. In 1989, Reeves starred in the comedy drama Parenthood directed by Ron Howard. Nick Hilditch of the BBC gave the film 3 out of 5 stars, calling it a feel-good movie with an extensive and entertaining ensemble cast. In 1990, Reeves gave 2 acting performances. He portrayed an incompetent hitman in the black comedy I Love You to Death, and played Martin, a radio station employee in the comedy Tune In Tomorrow. He also appeared in Paula Abdul's music video for Rush Rush, which featured a rebel without a cause motif, with him in the James Dean role. 1991–1994, breakthrough with adult roles. In 1991, Reeves starred in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, a sequel to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, with his co-star Alex Winter. Michael Wilmington of the Los Angeles Times wrote that the sequel was more imaginative, more opulent, wilder, and freer, more excitingly visualized, praising the actors for their fuller performances. Film critic Roger Ebert thought it was a riot of visual invention and weird humor that works on its chosen submoronic level. It's the kind of movie where you start out snickering in spite of yourself, and end up actually admiring the originality that went into creating this hallucinatory slapstick. The rest of 1991 marked a significant transition for Reeves' career as he undertook adult roles. Co-starring with River Phoenix as a street hustler in the adventure My Own Private Idaho, the characters embark on a journey of personal discovery. The story was written by Gus Van Sant, and is loosely based on Shakespeare's Henry IV, Part 1, Henry IV, Part 2, and Henry V. The film premiered at the 48th Venice International Film Festival, followed by a theatrical release in the United States on September 29, 1991. The film earned $6.4 million at the box office. My Own Private Idaho was positively received, with Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly describing the film as a postmodern road movie with a mood of free-floating, trance-like despair, a rich, audacious experience. The New York Times complimented Reeves and Phoenix for their insightful performances. Reeves starred alongside Patrick Swayze, Lori Petty, and Gary Busey in the action thriller Point Break, directed by Kathryn Bigelow. He plays an undercover FBI agent tasked with investigating the identities of a group of bank robbers. To prepare for the film, Reeves and his co-stars took surfing lessons with professional surfer Dennis Jarvis in Hawaii. Reeves had never surfed before. Upon its release, Point Break was generally well received, and a commercial success, earning $83.5 million at the box office. Reeves' performance was praised by the New York Times for considerable discipline and range, adding, "He moves easily between the buttoned-down demeanor that suits a police procedural story and the loose-jointed manner of his comic roles." Writing for The Washington Post, Hal Hinson called Reeves the perfect choice and praised the surfing scenes, but opined that the filmmakers have their characters make the most ludicrously illogical choices imaginable. At the 1992 MTV Movie Awards, Reeves won the Most Desirable Male award. In 1991, Reeves developed an interest in a music career. He formed an alternative rock band called Dogstar, consisting of members Robert Mailhouse, Greg Miller, and Brett Domrose. Reeves played the bass guitar. A year later, he played Jonathan Harker in Francis Ford Coppola's gothic horror Bram Stoker's Dracula, based on Stoker's 1897 novel Dracula. Starring alongside Gary Oldman, Winona Ryder, and Anthony Hopkins, the film was critically and commercially successful. It grossed $215.8 million worldwide. For his role, Reeves was required to speak with an English accent, which drew some ridicule. Overly posh and entirely ridiculous, Reeves's performance is as painful as it is hilarious, wrote Limara Salt of Virgin Media. In a retrospective interview in 2015, director Coppola said, "Tried so hard he wanted to do it perfectly, and in trying to do it perfectly it came off as stilted." Bram Stoker's Dracula was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, winning 3 in Best Costume Design, Best Sound Editing and Best Makeup. The film also received 4 nominations at the British Academy Film Awards. In 1993, he had a role in Much Ado About Nothing, based on Shakespeare's play of the same name. The film received positive reviews, although Reeves was nominated for a Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Supporting Actor. The New Republic magazine thought his casting was unfortunate because of his amateur performance. In that same year, he starred in 2 more drama films, Even Cowgirls Get the Blues and Little Buddha, both of which garnered a mixed to negative reception. The Independent critic gave Little Buddha a mixed review but opined that Reeves' part as a prince was credible. The film also left an impression on Reeves. He later said, "When I played this innocent prince who starts to suspect something when he has the first revelations about old age, sickness, and death, it hit me. That lesson has never left me." He starred in the action thriller Speed alongside Sandra Bullock and Dennis Hopper. He plays police officer Jack Traven, who must prevent a bus from exploding by keeping its speed above 50 miles per hour. Speed was the directorial debut of Dutch director Jan de Bont. Several actors were considered for the lead role, but Reeves was chosen because Bont was impressed with his Point Break performance. To look the part, Reeves shaved all his hair off and spent 2 months in the gym to gain muscle mass. During production, Reeves' friend River Phoenix died, resulting in adjustments to the filming schedule to allow him to mourn. Speed was released on June 10 to a critically acclaimed response. Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune lauded Reeves, calling him absolutely charismatic, giving a performance juiced with joy as he jumps through elevator shafts and atop a subway train. David Anson, writing for Newsweek, summarized Speed as relentless without being overbearing. This is one likely blockbuster that doesn't feel too big for its britches. It's a friendly juggernaut. The film grossed $350 million from a $30 million budget and won 2 Academy Awards in 1995: Best Sound Editing and Best Sound. 1995–1998, continued acting efforts. Reeves' next leading role came in the 1995 cyberpunk action thriller Johnny Mnemonic, directed by artist Robert Longo and based on the 1981 story of the same name by William Gibson. The template for The Matrix, the Wachowskis recalled, had been Johnny Mnemonic, and it set the stage for decades worth of movie tropes. Set in 2021, it is about a man who has had a cybernetic brain implant while prophetically, a tech-induced pandemic ravages a planet awash with conspiracies. The Yakuza are hired to kill Johnny by an evil corporation who knows that what is in Johnny's head can cure the pandemic, cutting into their profits. The film is considered a classic example of Hollywood execs greenlighting a film with an artist at the helm, then steamrollering over their unique creative vision. By all accounts it was an embattled production, and it is a testament to Longo's genius that so much of his eccentric intention survived even after the film was recut by the studio, and Longo's internalization of the comic book aesthetic also seems to have wrong-footed critics at the time, who called it Blade Runner with tackier sets. The film received mainly negative reviews and critics felt Reeves was woefully miscast for an acting style that became his signature. Over the years the peculiarities of Reeves's acting style have come to be seen more generously. The film is one of the great goofy gestures of recent cinema, a movie that doesn't deserve 1 nanosecond of serious analysis but has a kind of idiotic grandeur that makes you almost forgive it and has been a major influence on the science fiction genre. As part of the film studio's marketing efforts, a CD-ROM video game was also released. He next appeared in the romantic drama A Walk in the Clouds, which also garnered mixed to negative reviews. Reeves plays a young soldier returning home from World War II, trying to settle down with a woman he married impulsively just before he enlisted. Film critic Mick LaSalle opined that A Walk in the Clouds is for the most part a beautiful, well-acted, and emotionally rich picture, whereas Hal Hinson from the Washington Post said, the film has the syrupy, Kodak magic moment look of a Bo Derek movie, and pretty much the same level of substance. Besides film work, Reeves retreated briefly to the theater playing Prince Hamlet in a 1995 Manitoba Theatre Center production of Hamlet, Indiana, Winnipeg, Manitoba. The Sunday Times critic Roger Lewis believed his performance, writing he quite embodied the innocence, the splendid fury, the animal grace of the leaps and bounds, the emotional violence, that form the Prince of Denmark. He is one of the top 3 Hamlets I have seen. For a simple reason, he is Hamlet. Reeves was soon drawn to science fiction roles, appearing in Chain Reaction with CO stars Morgan Freeman, Rachel Weisz, Fred Ward, Kevin Dunn, and Brian Cox. He plays a researcher of a green energy project, who has to go on the run when he is framed for murder. Chain Reaction was not a critical success and gained mostly a negative reaction. Review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes gave it a rating of 16% and described it as a man-on-the-run thriller that mostly sticks to generic formula. Reeves' film choices after Chain Reaction were also critical disappointments. He starred in the independent crime comedy Feeling Minnesota, with Vincent D'Onofrio and Cameron Diaz, which was described as shoddily assembled, and fundamentally miscast by Rotten Tomatoes. In that year, he turned down an offer to star in Speed 2, Cruise Control, despite being offered a salary of $12 million. According to Reeves, this decision caused 20th Century Fox to sever ties with him for a decade. Instead, Reeves toured with his band Dogstar, and appeared in the drama The Last Time I Committed Suicide, based on a 1950 letter written by Neil Cassidy to Jack Kerouac. Reeves' performance gained mixed reviews. Paul Tatara of CNN called him void of talent. Here he is again, reciting his lines as if they're non-related words strung together as a memory exercise, whereas Empire magazine thought Reeves gives the nearest thing to a performance in his career as the enthusiastic feckless drunk. He starred in the 1997 supernatural horror The Devil's Advocate alongside Al Pacino and Charlize Theron. Reeves agreed to a pay cut of several $1 million so that the film studio could afford to hire Pacino. Based on Andrew Needorman's novel of the same name, the feature is about a successful young lawyer invited to New York City to work for a major firm, who discovers the owner of the firm is a devil. The Devil's Advocate attracted positive reviews from critics. Film critic James Berardinelli called the film highly enjoyable and wrote, "There are times when Reeves lacks the subtlety that would have made this a more multi-layered portrayal, but it's nevertheless a solid job." 1999-2004, stardom with The Matrix/I franchise and comedies. None. 2005-2013, thrillers, documentaries, and directorial debut. In 2005, Reeves played the titular role in Constantine, an occult detective film, about a man who has the ability to perceive and communicate with half angels and half demons. The film was a respectable box office hit, grossing $230 million worldwide from a $100 million budget but attracted mixed to positive reviews. The Sydney Morning Herald's critic wrote that Constantine isn't bad, but it doesn't deserve any imposing adjectives. It's occasionally cheesy, sometimes enjoyable, intermittently scary, and constantly spiked with celestial blatherskite. He next appeared in Thumbsucker, which premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in 2005. A comedy adapted from the 1999 Walter Kern novel of the same name, the story follows a boy with a thumb-sucking problem. Reeves and the cast garnered positive critical reviews, with the Washington Post describing it as a gently stirring symphony about emotional transition filled with lovely musical passages and softly nuanced performances. Reeves appeared in the Richard Linklater-directed animated science fiction thriller A Scanner Darkly, which premiered at the 2006 Cannes Film Festival. Reeves played Bob Arctor/Fred, an undercover agent in a futuristic dystopia under high-tech police surveillance. Based on the novel of the same name by Philip K. Dick, the film was a box office failure. However, the film attracted generally favorable reviews. Paul Arendt of the BBC thought the film was beautiful to watch, but Reeves was outshone by his co-star Robert Downey Jr. His next role was Alex Weiler in The Lake House, a romantic drama adaptation of the South Korean film Il Mare, which reunited him with Sandra Bullock. Despite its box office success, Mark Kermode of The Guardian was highly critical, writing this syrup-drenched supernatural whimsy achieves stupidity at a genuinely international level. The last time Bullock and Reeves were together on screen the result was Speed. This should have been entitled Stop. Towards the end of 2006, he co-narrated The Great Warming with Alanis Morissette, a documentary about climate change mitigation. Next in 2008, Reeves collaborated with director David Ayer on the crime thriller Street Kings. He played an undercover policeman who must clear his name after the death of another officer. Released on April 11, the film grossed a moderate $66 million worldwide. The film's plot and Reeves' performance, however, were met with mostly unenthusiastic reviews. Paul Burns of the Sydney Morning Herald stated, "It's full of twists and turns, a dead body in every reel, but it's not difficult to work out who's betraying whom, and that's just not good enough." The Guardian opined that Reeves is fundamentally blank and uninteresting. Reeves starred in another science fiction film, The Day the Earth Stood Still, a loose adaptation of the 1951 film of the same name. He portrayed Claytu, an alien sent from outer space to try to change human behavior or eradicate humans because of their environmental impact. At the 2009 Razzie Awards, the film was nominated for Worst Prequel, Remake, Rip-Off or Sequel. Many critics were unimpressed with the heavy use of special effects. The Telegraph credited Reeves' ability to engage the audience, but thought the cinematography was abysmal and the sub-Al Gore environment lecture leaves you lightheaded with tedium. Rebecca Miller's The Private Lives of Pippa Lee was Reeves' sole release of 2009, which premiered at the 59th Berlin International Film Festival. The romantic comedy and its ensemble received an amicable review from The Telegraph's David Gridden. Miller's film is a triumph. Uniformly well acted, it boasts a psychologically knowing script, clearly written by a smart, assertive human. In 2010, he starred in another romantic comedy, Henry's Crime, about a man who is released from prison for a crime he did not commit, but then targets the same bank with his former cellmate. The film was not a box office hit. Reeves' only work in 2011 was an adult picture book titled Ode to Happiness, which he wrote, complemented by Alexandra Grant's illustrations. Reeves co-produced and appeared in a 2012 documentary, Side by Side. He interviewed filmmakers including James Cameron, Martin Scorsese, and Christopher Nolan. The feature investigated digital and photochemical film creation. Next, Reeves starred in Generation an independent drama which was critically panned. In 2013, Reeves starred in his own directorial debut, the martial arts film Man of Tai Chi. The film has multilingual dialogue and follows a young man drawn to an underground fight club, partially inspired by the life of Reeves' friend Tiger Chen. Principal photography took place in China and in Hong Kong. Reeves was also assisted by Yuen Wu-ping, the fight choreographer of the Matrix films. Man of Tai Chi premiered at the Beijing Film Festival and the Cannes Film Festival, and received praise from director John Woo. A wider, warm response followed suit. Bill Jebari of Vulture thought the fight sequences were beautifully assembled, and Reeves showed restraint with the film editing to present the fighters' motion sequences. The Los Angeles Times wrote, "The brutally efficient shooting style Reeves employs to film master choreographer Yuen Wu-ping's breathtaking fights is refreshingly grounded and old-school kinetic," while Dave McGinn of The Globe and Mail called the film ambitious but generic. At the box office, Man of Tai Chi was a commercial disappointment, grossing only $5.5 million worldwide from a budget of $25 million. Also in 2013, Reeves played Kai in the 3D fantasy 47 Ronin, a Japanese fable about a group of rogue samurai. The film premiered in Japan but failed to gain traction with audiences. Reviews were not positive, causing Universal Pictures to reduce advertising for the film elsewhere. 47 Ronin was a box office flop and was mostly poorly received. 2014 present, resurgence with John Wick/I. None. Upcoming projects. Personal life. In 1998, Reeves met director David Lynch's assistant Jennifer Syme at a party thrown for his band Dogstar, and they started dating. On December 24, 1999, Syme gave birth 8 months into her pregnancy to the couple's child, Ava Archer Syme Reeves, who was stillborn. The couple broke up several weeks afterward, but later reconciled. On April 2, 2001, Syme was killed when her vehicle collided with 3 parked cars on Cahuenga Boulevard in Los Angeles. Syme was reportedly impaired, and also not belted in. Reeves told investigators that they were back together, and had had brunch together in San Francisco the day before the accident. Reeves acted as a pallbearer for Syme, who was buried next to their daughter. He was scheduled to film the sequels to The Matrix the following spring, but sought peace and time. According to friend Brett Domrose of Dogstar. Reeves has also been romantically linked to longtime friend and filmmaker Brenda Davis, whose child he is godfather to, and model actress China Chow. In 2009, Reeves met Alexandra Grant at a dinner party. They went on to collaborate on 2 books together. They went public with their relationship in November 2019. Reeves is discreet about his spiritual beliefs, saying that it is something personal and private. When asked if he was a spiritual person, he said that he believes in God, faith, inner faith, the self, passion, and things, and that he is very spiritual and supremely bountiful. Although he does not formally practice Buddhism, the religion has left a strong impression on him, especially after filming Little Buddha. He said, "Most of the things I've come away with from Buddhism have been human understanding feelings, impermanence, and trying to understand other people and where they're coming from." When asked on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert in 2019 about his views on what happens after death, Reeves replied, "I know that the ones who love us will miss us." Business and philanthropy. Reeves supports several charities and causes. In response to his sister's battle with leukemia, he founded a private cancer foundation, which aids children's hospitals and provides cancer research. In June 2020, he volunteered for Camp Rainbow Gold, an Idaho children's cancer charity. Reeves has said, "Money is the last thing I think about. I could live on what I have already made for the next few centuries." It was rumored that Reeves gave away a substantial portion, estimated to be $125 million, of his earnings from The Matrix to the special effects and makeup crews. However, this has been significantly embellished. Reeves negotiated a smaller deal relinquishing his contractual right to a percentage of the sequel's profits in exchange for a more extensive special effects budget. Reeves co-founded a production company, Company Films, with friend Stephen Hamill. An avid motorcyclist, Reeves co-founded Arch Motorcycle Company, which builds and sells custom motorcycles. In 2017, Reeves, Jessica Fleischman, and Alexandra Grant founded book publisher, X Artists Books. He has written 2 books, Ode to Happiness and Shadows, both of which are collaborations with Grant. He provided the text to her photographs and art. Censorship. Reeves's films have been banned from streaming platforms in China such as iQIYI, Tencent Video, and Youku, after his virtual participation in a March 3, 2022 benefit concert for Tibet House, a non-profit organization affiliated with the exiled Tibetan spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama. In the media. In a 2005 article for Time magazine, Lev Grossman called Reeves Hollywood's ultimate introvert. He has been described as a workaholic, charming and excruciatingly shy. During the production of Constantine, director Francis Lawrence commented on his personality, calling him hard-working and generous. His co-star Shia LaBeouf said, "I've worked with him for a year and a couple of months, but I don't really know him that much." Erwin Stoff of 3 Arts Entertainment has served as Reeves' agent and manager since he was 16, and produced many of his films. Stoff said Reeves is a really private person and keeps his distance from other people. In 2010, an image of Reeves became an internet meme after photographs of him were published, sitting on a park bench with a sad facial expression. The images were posted on the 4chan discussion board and were soon distributed via several blogs and media outlets, leading to the sad Keanu meme being spread on the internet. An unofficial holiday was created when a Facebook fan page declared June 15 as Cheer Up Keanu Day. He would later downplay the photo, saying, "Man, I was eating a sandwich. I was thinking I had some stuff going on. I was hungry." Reeves' casual persona and ability to establish rapport have been observed by the public, leading him to be dubbed the Internet's boyfriend. In 2019, Vox cited Reeves' unorthodox filmography and ability to appeal to nerd culture as the primary reasons for his internet popularity. While filming Bill and Ted Face the Music in July 2019, Reeves and other cast members came across a house with a banner reading "You're breathtaking" and "Mini Keanu," 2 memes that had come out of Reeves' appearance at the Electronic Entertainment Expo 2019 for the game Cyberpunk 2077. Reeves took time to sign the banner, and talk to the family. Reeves appeared on Forbes' annual Celebrity 100 list in 2001 and 2002, at number 36 and 49, respectively. In 2005, Reeves received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for his contributions to the motion picture industry. In 2016, The Hollywood Reporter calculated that Reeves had earned $250 million for the Matrix franchise, making him one of the highest-paid actors. In 2020, The New York Times ranked him at number 4 on its list of the 25 greatest actors of the 21st century. Filmography and awards. Prolific in film since 1985, Reeves' most acclaimed and highest-grossing films, according to the review aggregate site Rotten Tomatoes, include River's Edge, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, My Own Private Idaho, Much Ado About Nothing, Speed, The Matrix, John Wick, Chapter 2, John Wick, Chapter 3 Parabellum, and Toy Story 4. Reeves has won 4 MTV Movie Awards, and received 2 Best Actor nominations at the Saturn Awards. He was nominated twice for a People's Choice Award, Favorite Male Movie Star and Favorite Action Movie Star, for his performance in John Wick, Chapter 3 Parabellum. In September 2021, Taekwondo Life magazine deemed Reeves the #1 martial arts movie star in the world based upon his multiple films in the genre, their popularity, and sheer box office gross. Bibliography. Reeves, Keanu, Grant, Alexandra. Burgum, Janie. Ode to Happiness. Göttingen, Steidl Publishers. ISBN 9783869302096. OCLC 7567977130. Reeves, Keanu, Grant, Alexandra. Shadows, a collaborative project by Alexandra Grant and Keanu Reeves. Göttingen, Steidl Publishers. ISBN 9783869308272. OCLC 965117169. BRZRKR